The Monday Morning Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Esther of IPA Group, bringing premier online promotion to your business.
And Melanie of Stomp Social Media Training, who empowers business owners to manage social media and marketing for themselves.
And we're back. You certainly weren't expected to hear my voice this time, were you? So, myself and Esther are here today to welcome AJ, and he is the founder of AJS Digital Group, to be specific. AJ, tell me about AJS Digital Group. What exactly is it, and what does it do?
Sure. So, thank you ever so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So, yes, I run AJS Digital Group, which is e-commerce digital marketing growth company. So, we help e-commerce companies scale to 6 or 7 figures.
That sounds easy.
Well, I'm a magician. I do have the cape, so you know.
Okay. Oh, that's easy then. That's easy.
All of those work.
So, how long would it take a company to scale to 6 or 7 figures? Let's say we're starting our website today. We're starting to sell online today.
So you have to get the fundamentals right. So it really depends on what your product mix is, what the demand is in the market, and how quickly you can gather and gain attention. So say you have a couple of retail stores and you're running something like, say, hardware, right? So you're selling power tools, you're selling drill bits, you're selling nails, right? You probably could scale to 6, maybe 7 figures within, say, 12 to 18 months, maybe 2 years. But you'd have to have all the fundamentals in place. So you'd have to have all the distribution, all the supply lines all ready to go for you to be able to have that, to be able to cope with the demand. So yeah, so it is a bit of it's not just one element; it's a couple of different elements that you have to have in place.
So when you're talking about elements, are you suggesting how people can add in virtual assistants, outsourcing, time management? I mean, is it the whole enchilada?
Right, yeah. So, yeah. I love that you just made a Spanish joke. That's very clever. So, yeah. So you to get to 6 figures, you need a team. You need to have suppliers that can cope with that demand. You need to have infrastructure in terms of like warehousing and a CRM system that can handle that and have all the processes in place. So a lot of that is it's about getting the forethought in before you actually start. So you have things like SOPs, you have dedicated.
What's that? Sorry.
You have SOPs, so standard operating procedures.
See?
Yeah.
But can't assume people know what they mean. So
okay.
Standard operating procedures, yep.
Basically, if you have a big thick wad of checklists that you can give to people who you can divvy up into different job specs.
Yeah.
i.e. SOPs, just to be clear. Right? You then can scale pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I often find that it's people and businesses that don't have any marketing kind of style guide. They don't have any, customer intelligence. They don't have any kind of processes, and they don't have any ability to scale. Generally can't scale because it's just a dream at that point.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of times I go into these businesses and I say, right, okay, this is the roadmap to how we're going to scale. And it's, basically I'm a checklist. I'm a glorified checklist writer most of the time.
So you're not doing it for them. You're actually enabling them to learn how to do it themselves.
So I do a bit of both. So I have
okay.
clients that I coach that I'm teaching their internal team how to scale and how to market better. And then, yes, some of them will say, right, can we do X? And then they'll outsource that to me, and I'll pass it off to a partner business, or I'll do it myself. So, yeah, so there is a little bit of both.
So we can't just rock up to you and go, right, I want an e-commerce website, want it launched next week, let's go, without having all this stuff pre-organized and pre-arranged in the background.
No, but I think that's like, if you start a marketing agency and have a 12-month target of 2 million turnover, you just wouldn't be able to do it overnight. You would have to have some sort of insight and some sort of knowledge of how to get there.
And it's like we always talk about, you need to know who your customer is.
Absolutely.
And you need to do your background and your homework and see, and where where would you recommend people would promote their site once they have it up and running?
Right. So
Let's just stick with the hardware shops that
sure.
we.
So I'm a massive fan of doing lots of content. So that's my background. So I would say have really good, strong content plans. So every product that you'll sell solves a problem. And so how can you create content around what problem that item solves? So say you're selling drills, for example, you can create 20 pieces of content about a drill because you can do, right, what can I use the drill for? How can it help me? How to maintain it properly so it lasts for longer? What drill bit should I use? What drill bit shouldn't I use? Those kind of pieces of content. And so you can create a lot of value that then leads people to purchase items without being kind of in your face, being very salesy. And so you can do that, and by doing lots of that kind of content, you can then repurpose it as YouTube videos or TikTok videos or social posts, etc. You can just take out snippets for socials, right? And so that then becomes a way to market yourself as a business without being buy my stuff. And so then you're actually inspiring people to buy rather than telling people to buy, which is much more powerful.
So I just wanted to clarify, e-commerce is actually quite a harsh area to work in, isn't it? Because there's no personality. Normally there's no sort of community behind e-commerce per se. So how, obviously we're doing full timesing your e-commerce here, so how can we exactly make it more friendly, more relatable when we're talking about e-commerce and promoting ourselves? Because I know we need to be salesy, but there is a time for that. You can't be salesy all the time, surely.
Right. So I think it comes back to how you're serving the customer, right? And so I think you can do things in a very friendly way in terms of how you're serving the customer. So, like, a client I have at the moment is a gifts business, right? And so we're talking a lot about their brand story in terms of how it actually communicates with the customers. And it's then about repositioning them to say, well, actually, somebody's not going to buy a balloon for their 21st birthday, right? Just because they want to balloon, right? It's the emotion that creates. And so how can we describe that emotion that it creates in a way that is captivating, in a way that draws people in? Because then you're making sales on the back of being relatable.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of things we can do, and it comes back to just basic storytelling. And if you think about gifts, the most exciting thing about giving a gift is the actual giving. But and the second most exciting thing is the discovery, right? So when you, as a the selfish element of it is when you discover that gift, you think, oh, that'd be perfect for Sarah or whoever, right? Just gonna pick my sister's name because anyway, yeah. I'm sure she'll listen to it. So that to me is just as impactful as having a story to tell. And so I do think it's about trying to trigger the emotions and trying to be more personable. But also, I think people have got away from just listing out features as a product description to trying to tell a story and trying to really educate that person on how to use it. And I think the greatest example of this is John Lewis. I think if you go through John Lewis's website, for example, there's a really great personality behind every item that they're trying to sell. And they're trying to describe why you might want to buy it, or who you might want to give it to, why you might want to use it, or why it's different. I think that really sells it in a way that isn't,
It's not what you say, it's how you make people feel.
Absolutely, yeah. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Back to the hardware example. So I really think it's that, but I also think it is about trying to sell the outcome and not the features, because why would somebody buy a half-inch drill bit? Because they're trying to then maybe put up a bookshelf, right? Why are they putting up a bookshelf? To have nice books or nice pictures on their wall.
We'll get the kids' stuff off the floor.
Well, yeah, of course, or so that to me is the kind of you're trying to use storytelling to sell items in a way that connects with the outcome or the pain that you're helping solve, rather than bamboozling people with clever marketing speak.
Oh, you're so right. The amount of time that I keep on seeing people talking about their product or their service and totally not mentioning the pain point they're solving.
Yeah.
And it's become more and more common. Storytelling is important,
Yeah,
but there has to be a point to it.
indeed.
And so part of that point would be features tell, benefits sell.
Yeah.
So it sounds very much like, Esther, that e-commerce, even though it can be a bit impersonable, can still be used very much the same way as social posting.
Absolutely.
But there's actually slightly more SEO behind it.
Indeed. Indeed. But I also think, and this to me is a critical point, is, people. I don't think people understand. I think a lot of people just shove up an e-commerce site over the weekend and think, right, we're going to make our millions here, and they don't think about either customer journey or customer targeting or how to resonate with that customer.
Yeah, we definitely need to always think about the UI, the UX, the who is your end user?
Yeah.
Who is the person that's going to be scrolling through the site? Is it? I mean, it's been so many years since mobile friendly became a thing. There's
Right.
still so many sites that aren't mobile friendly, and it just turns me off completely. It's like,
Right.
nope.
I could talk.
Yeah,
for
I'll go somewhere else.
And the
to buy it.
SSL cert as well.
Yeah.
That people still aren't securing their sites either.
Yeah.
Oh, especially if there's a payment platform connected. That
Exactly.
you're losing out on a trick there. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And the thing for me, what I find frustrating is most hosting companies now will give you a basic SSL for free.
Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse.
And so there's no excuse. And if your hosting company wants to charge you for it, then I would either change my hosting provider, or I literally just email them to death till they give me one for free. And that has worked.
Mark,
has it worked?
Here's the story.
You've heard it here first. Email them to death.
Email them to death, indeed. Because if they want to be reputable in the marketplace, why do they not offer a basic SSL for free?
Yeah.
Right? I can understand them doing a premium version where they're charging and they're doing it because for the features, the additional features that they're paying for. But if they're trying to promote being reputable online, and they're not doing that, they have a fundamental flaw in their business model.
Another thing, though, like getting back to the customer journey and scrolling through a website, if you're able to get in with the SSL certificate, then it's some people just feel that they have to put every product on the one page. So how many, in your opinion, how many products per page make for a good user experience? And don't say it depends, because that's a really marketing answer. Give us a straight answer here.
Right. Okay.
How many drill bits should be on the same page?
So with something like drill bits, you mainly want to put 12 or 24 on a page, and then have multiple pages. But then you also might want to, and pardon the pun, you may want to drill down. That's terrible. I know. Melly's rolling her eyes at me. It's hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. You then might want to drill down and actually have, so we have 10 different quarter-inch drill bits that we're selling. Can we have that on a page? Because then that helps us talk about the type of hole that you can drill, sell the outcome, right?
Yeah.
And then you might have another page that has half-inch drill bits or whatever, right? This is how limited my knowledge of drill bits is.
I should have chosen a different topic.
We should have
balloons.
That's not much better.
No,
it's not.
Put all the 21s in one color on the one page.
Yeah. And so, but then like product pages should just have the one product on.
Yeah.
Because you then make it difficult for people to understand. If you have 3 or 4 different options, unless they're color options, so if you have different colors, obviously, put them on one page, make it easier for the customer to select. But if you've got different variations of the same product, so different like wording, like balloons, for example, if you've got 21, 50, whatever, you may want to have different pages because it then helps the user make a quicker decision. And if they're going to make a quicker decision, they're more likely to buy.
All right.
Because they're looking for a solution in the quickest time possible, right? And so they're looking for you to solve that problem. And why are they on your site, not on something like Etsy, for example, or eBay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, can you solve that problem? Can you solve that problem quickly? And so just KISS is probably the best acronym. Keep it simple.
Keep it
stupid.
simple, stupid.
Yeah, or keep it simple, silly, as my mother would say, because she's polite.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
Yes.
Whoops.
Sorry, mummy.
So, one debate I've had with people over the past is it seems obvious for drill bits, balloons, and jewellery to go onto e-commerce websites.
Right.
But these days, certainly over here in Ireland, we've got a trading online voucher
Right.
that's available to people here. So it's encouraging people to put, services and not just products onto online e-commerce websites. So e-commerce can be used for both services and products, but how many is it worth doing an actual e-commerce website, or is it the likes of, and I know I'm swearing here, Esther, WordPress, and then doing the plugin? they're both rolling their eyes at me now.
Indeed.
So
Like to
when is
throw
it
up
worth when is it worth going over to a proper, full-time legit e-commerce website?
Yeah, so sure. So
It depends.
See, you
See?
did it.
see.
But it does.
So what matters is say you're running like a service business that you've productized, so you're selling like blocks of time, or you're selling blocks of outcomes, right?
Okay, blocks of time, blocks of outcomes.
Right.
Okay.
Then running something like WordPress with WooCommerce is probably going to be the simplest, most elegant solution for you.
Yeah.
Because you mainly have 3 or 4 products. Whereas WooCommerce and WordPress isn't really designed for the specificity that, say, Shopify is, right?
No.
So you can't, do user journeys, you can't do suggested products, in a way that you can manipulate. So way back when I had an e-commerce jewelry store, this was 5-6 years ago, I went from WooCommerce to Magento and spent 3 weeks doing 17-hour days, 7 days a week, to teach myself how to do Magento. True story.
It's really hard.
But Magento, you can literally go into the back of Magento and click what you want to come as suggested products, like related products, sorry, at the bottom. And that obviously helps and guide the user to spend more money.
Oh, so that's what you see in Amazon, is it?
That's what you see in Amazon, yeah.
Customers also bought.
Yeah, so that's Magento, is it?
Well,
or things
well,
like it.
not Amazon.
Things like that. So Amazon have pioneered that, and they've got their own mainframe, their own AI that's running that, right? But yeah, you can increase the average order value by doing things like, say you're going to buy a watch, then why would you not buy like a female's watch? Why would you not buy some female jewelry with that? Or if you're buying a man's watch, why would you not buy like a watch winder or a watch box or one of those pop out trays, right, to put your jewelry and keys in, right? Those kind of things. And so so it makes sense that you are directing the user in that kind of way. And so so I would say, if you've got more than probably like 10 or 20 products, then you probably want to move to something like Shopify or Magento or BigCart, where you've actually got, BigCommerce, where you've actually got the flexibility to do lots of these crazy things that just WordPress isn't designed to do. But then, say under 10, WordPress will probably be adequate for your needs.
Cool.
I gave an answer without saying it depends.
Better than it depends.
But it does, because you said yourself, if you've only got like 4 or 5 products, it wouldn't make sense to use Magento or things like that, because it would be like driving a Ferrari to the school to pick up your kids when you only live around the corner. That's So it does. It depends. It always depends. You know, the answer to every marketing question.
Yeah,
Depends.
right. But I do feel when especially marketers, and maybe we can riff on this for a little bit. You know, when marketers say it depends, but they can't then clarify why.
Mm-hmm.
That really irritates me, especially as like a customer.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, so I try never to
Well, we
say it
did.
depends without being able to clarify why.
Yes, we did. We clarified it there. We clarified
We
it
did,
depends
indeed.
on the size.
It depends on the size.
So going back to
products.
how you can actually make this growth, because what I admire about your business mostly is the fact that you can actually elevate somebody using tactics. Okay, and you know everything starts, as you say, with the customer and brand values and personas and you know messaging and all that sort of stuff.
Indeed.
But where the money is made is after all that hard work and research, and that's when you create the campaigns and the tactics
Right.
and the proof points and the touch points. Correct?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
how would you explain to our listeners, bearing in mind that they're you know fairly well traversed across
Good.
America, US and Ireland, US and Ireland and UK even. I know my geography.
You know, keep
so-
on let's colour map.
So how would you help people prioritize what they need to do in order to go from their existing business, which we assume has been in business for over a couple of years,
Yeah.
and you want to really help them scale up, AJ?
Right. So I'm currently adopting a framework that I'm coining POC, right? So it's persona, outcome, and then cash.
Okay.
This is a well exclusive because I've never talked about this on the podcast before. So you
heard it here first, guys.
You hear it first, right? So what I mean by persona is what problem you're solving. So that could be pain, it could be whatever, right? Prospect. Right, what outcome you want them to take on the website? So, you know, do you want them to buy a product? Do you want them to go to a booking form? Do you want them to take a quiz? Whatever, right? So, how are you going to get that first stage? And then, obviously, the cash is how you're going to extract money from them.
Extract.
Right? and so, for me, a lot of people do. They may have like the front end, so they may have a way to attract people onto the website. So they're running paid ads, they're doing things like podcasts, they're doing things like SEO.
Lead
But then they don't
magnets.
exactly. But they have a really, really crap user journey to get them to that outcome that they want people to take. So they're doing something like they just throwing lots of content up, or they just have loads of products and they're not thinking about right what are people actually going to buy. And so then they're not funneling people to the outcome that they want them to, a bit like herding sheep, right? Which is probably the best,
That's really good.
an analogy I can use, right? And so because they're doing such a crap job that they don't actually have a good conversion rate, and then but beyond getting them to the outcome, then they're not doing anything in between the outcome when they're getting the cash. So you could do stuff. So you could do things like if you're in e-commerce selling furniture, right? You could do, hey, sign up and get 20% off your first purchase, right? Whether or not they spend that 20% is by the by. They probably actually won't. But once you have that email address, the worst thing you can do is just send them, right, we're going to add them to our weekly newsletter. Because why will they trust you? Well, the best thing you can do is you can say, right, why are they going to come to me and buy a sofa from me? And distill that into, say, 3 or 4 emails before you then drop them into the weekly email sequence. Because then you've actually started to talk to them rather than at them. And then getting cash from them is going to be far easier, right? And then once you've got cash, then it's about them saying, a couple of weeks after they bought a sofa or they bought a chair, then saying, what do you think? How can we improve,
So aftercare, after sales,
aftercare.
basically.
Yeah. I just got a dad joke in there, you didn't laugh. Anyway. And so I think a lot of businesses do this very, very poorly, whether they're trying to sell marketing, whether they're trying to sell consulting services, whether they're trying to sell sofas. They don't think about how to actually move the user through to the point where they feel comfortable enough to give them cash. They want to, excuse my French, but they want to shag them before they've dated them. You might have to bleep that later, mightn't you? But
Oh Lord, there's always
you-
one, isn't there?
there is,
We'll
and I
bleep that.
apologise. I apologise for using that word. But a lot of businesses want to get to that blind date with a ring before they've even said hello. They say, "Will you marry me?" And a lot of businesses are like that, and they don't consider actually the best thing to do is sit with a box of a bunch of flowers or a box of chocolates, and to say, right, do you trust me like an inch? Then do you trust me like a
But
foot, etc.?
Yeah, well, yes and no, because I think it really depends. Because your
Sure.
POC
You said
again.
depends.
Shut up! I'm qualifying it. I'm qualifying
You're
it.
qualifying it. Good.
Because you know, people only give you cash if they're in the right mindset to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't matter how many times you tell people
No.
what kind of problem you solve
Yeah.
and what outcome they're going to get out of it. If they're not in the right place to buy,
Yeah.
because they could be hearing about you or reading about you as they're on their way out to pick up Billy from school.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're just completely forgotten after hearing the school days drama. So how do you get over that outcome, AJ? How do you get people to go back through that cycle again?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that people have forgotten about you. I think it's just another touch point, isn't it?
It is another touch point, yes.
And I think again, it is about going, through more touch points than you might think are necessary to be able to build that relationship. So I think if it depends on situationals. It's a bit like when you get drunk and somebody tells you their deepest secret. You then forget until you're drunk again, right?
Isn't it weird how you only remember when you're drunk next?
Exactly.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is. It's very, very weird. Especially if it's on Tea Turtle. I read Tea Turtle for like forever. But so never tell
them your secrets.
Absolutely. It's all coming out now, isn't it? So it's interview. Anyway, yeah.
So it's creating more touch points and maybe more lead magnets and creating other areas throughout your funnel.
Yeah,
and that's how you encourage people to build the scale up in their business, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So do you have a lead magnet that we can share?
I do indeed. So I have a 30-point content audit people can get on the website, and I'll send you a link after.
Okay, cool.
Brilliant. That link will be at the bottom, guys. So when you listen to the podcast, go into the show notes and get the link. Yeah. Well, AJ, that's been wonderful. We'll wrap it up now because we normally only go for 20 minutes, but it's been so interesting.
Well, I can talk to you guys all day. It'd be great.
I know we are.
I don't think they want to listen, but it'd be great. We had a great time.
But it has been great having you on, AJ. And if anybody is interested in forexing your e-commerce, do get in touch with AJ on the link. And we'll be back next week with more Monday Morning Marketing. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See, for a long time, you've accused me of doing the waving. And now I
was encouraging you to.
Waving.
I was encouraging you two to say goodbye. I was like, am I the only one still here?
No, well, now you're waving as well. Seriously, guys.
Contagious. Contagious.
Yeah.